All right, welcome back to a very, very special episode. This is going to be a fun one. We're bringing an old friend of mine back, someone I went to college with for industrial design, somebody who's super creative, a shop teacher in her own way, Sabre Mrkva. Sorry.
Ah,
I messed it up.
that's all right. It's Czech. Right. It's weird. I get it.
That's cool. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me, Ron.
All right. Yeah, welcome. And we got a round table of shop teachers.
All right.
Some shop teachers, some honorary. We got Peter Molinar. I finally learned the right way to say it. He is from Toronto, Canada, and he is a passive house accelerator advocate. If your house is leaking, he is going to teach you how to create a better wall assembly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we got Tim Zavacki, shop teacher out in Western New Jersey, Northwest New Jersey. And he is going to First Robotics. You excited about that, Tim?
Of course I am. We've qualified and we're on our way.
That is awesome. And we got Duke Lazowski, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, middle school shop teacher. How you doing?
Good. What's going on? I'm headed west too. Not as far west as Tim, but Western PA. We have our PA TSA state competition coming up next week.
Oh, okay. No kidding.
Kids are bombarding my email with questions right now.
And is that VEX or what competition?
Yeah, there's VEX in it. There's all kind of competitions. CO2 cars. I have kids designing like pin designs, t-shirt logos.
Nice.
We have two robot competitions. There's Kurt Marshall's doing first battle bots, introducing battle bots to TSA. So that's cool.
Super cool.
So what is TSA? Technology
Student Association. Goes along the lines of like DECA, you know, the Future Business Leaders of America, Science Olympiad, but this is geared more towards shop teachers. It used to be industrial arts. They should show off their projects.
Got it.
Says it's the premier STEM competition.
Wow, that's cool.
That's on there from a couple years ago. What's that like? But it's the same type of thing. Kids build their robots. They're given like a real world scenario problem to solve, and we just do it on a smaller scale.
Nice,
that's really cool.
And Duke, is your kids are going?
Yeah, I got 5 kids going, and then we meet up with the high school. So we have 14 kids going, 2 advisors.
That's cool.
Middle school and high school. Yep.
Is this your shop class?
Kids love it. You know, the kids, they're constantly under pressure. No, there's like they got projects, they have deadlines to go to. There's special interest sessions where they're taught like what's the next level from middle school to high school to jobs in tech ed. One year the Army brought out their trailer, and they were highlighting like the future of the Army with different types of uniforms and the technology they use and their drones and robots and stuff like that. There's colleges there. A lot of times they don't recruit kids, but they give them information, so it's cool.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, Duke, thanks for being a middle school shop teacher. We need more of you guys. I have to teach the ruler to freshmen, and it's just a total pain. And we got Duke backing us up, and when they get to the high school, they're probably on fire, ready to go. You know, Duke gets them before the attitude kicks in.
Yeah.
No, that starts real early.
Well, in 6th grade, not much, but then in 8th grade, they're walking around like Ron's kids. They got the shoulder swag.
Yeah, my kids have like a shoulder problem. Their shoulders are like, oh, what's going on? You know. All right, cool. And also just joining in, we got Roy Castillo from Southern California. He's an incredible shop teacher. How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing really well. Just on spring break, and then I realized, oh my gosh, it's 5. So I logged in.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Roy, what's your Instagram again? You got such cool stuff going on.
It's a Desert West Woodshop. It's Mr. Castillo.
Oh, okay, right.
So it's furniture, case goods, cabinet making, but not wall hung, because we don't do class projects. We do individual student projects. So I guess a kid could screw it to the wall, but yeah, this weekend I'll be posting some cool content, and so I'm trying to get caught up with everything that I haven't been posting. I had a really messy backup of my phone, but not the phone, right? Because I just had an excuse not to post photos for a little bit, so I need to get that done before we do a weekend field trip.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Wow, look at this really nice.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Cabinetry's hard. It's no joke.
You know, it's funny. His class would have been so good to take before doing industrial design, because wasn't there all that furniture design classes? And what an incredible service you're providing, Roy. Do some of your kids consider industrial design as a college major?
We have a really good program at Long Beach State. It's accredited. So you went to Purdue. Where did you go?
Pratt Institute in Brooklyn.
So Pratt's a private school, right?
Yeah.
There's a state school that carries the same certification for the same program in California. It's Long Beach State. There might be more than just that one state school, but it's local. Yeah, I think that they're somehow certified to do industrial design. I'm not super familiar with.
Is that new? Because I'm from Huntington Beach, California, right down the road from Long Beach.
Oh, wait, hit pause just a second. Roy, when you're talking, unmute, but then when you're not, hit mute. You got some sort of echo going. Perfect. Go ahead, Sabre. Sorry.
Oh, I grew up down the street from Long Beach State. I grew up in Huntington Beach, California. And so I didn't know industrial design was taught at Long Beach. So I traveled across the country. No, I wanted to go to New York, but that's good to hear. Is that recent? A recent ad?
I know that in the 90s, they closed. It was the original industrial arts teacher program, which is the only reason I've even snuck into the shop. And so it was the wood shop, metal shop teacher school, right? The auto shop teacher school. Wow. And then when the state, in their infinite wisdom, closed those programs, then it became an art program, and the art program differentiated themselves. But I don't know in what year.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, that's all right. We'll just start our own school one day. It's funny. You could go back. You ever thinking about going back and teaching at Pratt or some other place?
Who, me?
Yeah.
You know who wants to do that? It's my husband, Alex. He's teaching at
Alex, of course.
Stein University. He's been trying to get into Pratt to teach for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, he could have his own school. Forget about it.
I know. He really should.
Cool. They have the National Association of Schools in Art and Design. Okay, Roy, you want to explain that a little?
Okay, so my understanding is the thing that sets aside places like Pratt and the Art Institute, and there's a couple places in the Midwest that feed into the automotive industry, is that they have this accreditation from it's like any of our accreditations, right? So in California we have WASC, right? And they come to the high schools and make sure that we meet snuff. On the East Coast they probably have ESC or something, East Coast Association of School, certifiers or something. I don't know what it's called, but they probably visit every 4 years. There's a national organization, and I believe that they make sure that all of those institutions are keeping with industrial practice and not just teaching, manual drawing.
Well, there's this CUSAC in New Jersey. CUSAC comes in and monitors that, but I don't know if they monitor each individual department.
Yeah, we had that
for universities.
Yeah, no, they don't have anything like that.
And then we had something called Middle States.
I don't think they do that anymore.
No, I don't know. The whole thing is like a kaleidoscope to me. I don't know. It just goes like this. I'm not even sure.
It's like, where are we at right now? Oh, we're here. Okay, then we're here, and then we're here. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a blur.
Mark Adams, the photographer, made a really good point about a lot of these programs because he went to Art Center College of Design. And he was saying it's great to teach all these arts, but they really should be teaching commercial art with a dollar sign attached to it. In other words, okay, great, you have this concept. How are you going to turn this into manufacturing or a customer service of some kind? I mean, it's not so much like, oh, I want to make money, but there is something missing, I think, at Pratt, which is that, how do you turn this into a service? How do you manufacture? And I think, obviously, Sabre, you figured that out. So we got to hear your journey, and I really appreciate that we've got this whole slide deck that you prepared for us. It's going to be amazing. But before we get to any of that, the most important thing is we got to get to the first question of the Shop Class podcast. That is
okay. I'm bracing myself. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's a big question. It's a big question. Right. And then we'll get into your whole company journey and whatnot. And I can't even do this question. You gotta start lifting weights to do a question like this. It's a huge question. All right, Duke's gonna do it for me. Yeah. And Duke, what do you got there? Go for it.
That's it. Before we talk about all your other education, right?
Okay.
Did you have shop class growing up?
So I did. I had 8th grade wood shop.
All right.
I would have taken it all the years of my life. I loved it very, very much. I could only take it that 1 year. There was one school that offered it, and I kept changing schools because our school program kept moving different schools. So I had an 8th grade, but I was the shop tech at Pratt. Did you know that, Ron?
Oh, were you really? No kidding.
Yes.
In the 5th
floor? I
floor?
mostly check out hammers and saws and things. Yes, I did. But I was in the room, okay? I thought I would build furniture for a living. That's what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to be a furniture designer maker, or lamps, or both, or also maybe some tabletop stuff. But life had other plans for me. But I was very much a maker. You'll see. You'll see. I got some shop history, you guys. I got some shop cred.
No, it's all good. The irony of the whole question is that I never had shop class growing up because they got rid of it. It was the 90s and most schools got rid of it. So, I mean, I did have a little bit of middle school. I think 4th grade, I was like sanding like crazy. And, like the
4th grade,
but they had, no shop class growing up. I had a junkyard close to me and I would frequent the junkyard and I bought parts and I put together a car. I got an old car back on the road. That was my shop class.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was kind of like a private shop class, But no, that's really cool. And I remember the 5th floor had a tool corral with a person that would be in the booth. Yes, I did the booth job I did that job. How long did you do that for?
3 years.
Oh, wow. No kidding. And so it was a great idea to do that because you got paid, you're on campus, and you could work on your project, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And then any other tech that was in there would teach you what you needed to know. So I should have kept that job. I think I did that for a couple months, and then I took a job in point of purchase. This is like the worst. No.
You're Ron. Your blood runs shop.
You know what? They make a lot of money, and basically, if you're in a supermarket, at the end of the supermarket, the boxed end or whatever that is, or like when you're about to check out, the point of your purchasing, there's a whole display. People spend a lot of time figuring out how to entice you to get that last purchase. And I worked in that industry for a little bit. Believe it or not, I had to go to 33rd Street in Manhattan to get there. It was on the east side, I think. Anyway, so you had shop class. You are basically a shop person. Okay, you passed the test. Duke, she made it?
Yeah, she's good to go.
Okay. That's awesome.
Once she said she had shop cred, she's good to go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Nice.
I really wanted to take auto shop. I thought that would be so cool to know how to fix my own car. And I bought an old Mini. That was my first car, an old Mini Minor. And it had been all monkeyed with to be a drag car. So it wasn't a normal car. So I thought I would like learn on an old car how cars work. And it was bananas inside, like monkeys had built it. So I never really got to learn. And that car broke down a lot. So
I wonder if there's like if I could find the 5th floor, like photos of the 5th floor. Wouldn't that be great? I don't know if I can do that.
Go in the windows of Google Earth. Try it, Ron.
Yeah. Maybe Peter can find it for us. The 5th floor shop. I wonder if they changed it. You know, there's this
totally changed it, Ron. They totally changed it. Oh yeah.
Oh,
the two different buildings that had the bridge across. Do you remember? You would like they merged the buildings now. There's like one big mega building and it's totally different. There's the whole 3rd floor is all the shop now. Is like
really
floor. It's gigantic. And there's one huge room that has a huge CNC machine, and it says Sabre on the side. It's like this gigantic machine taking up the whole room. It's got my name all over it. It's pretty crazy.
There you go. I can't find any old photos of like the shop.
Do you remember Juan Alvarez?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my buddy.
Oh, no way. You know, I forget who it is, but I visited one time, and you know, the engineering building, which is a separate building, there's people we graduated with that are still there, and they're like
get them out, Ron. Get them out. Okay.
All right. Oh my God. It's amazing. Oh God. No, this is good reminiscing. You know, we had Bruce Hanna on here.
Yes.
That was awesome.
That was a good show, Ron.
Did you have him as a teacher?
I did have him as a teacher, but he was a graduate school teacher.
Oh,
so I snuck in as a senior into one of his graduate classes.
I was wondering why I never had him or even thought about. I remember he was like a legend, but I never
like a superstar. I knew he was, but now from seeing your other podcast, now I understand why. It's deep. Yeah, he's very.
Yeah, totally. So all right, so you graduate Pratt, and then can you give us like an in-between? What did you do before jumping from Pratt all the way over to your own company, Bright Stripes?
Well, if you could refer to my slide presentation, Ron.
Let's go right into it. Let's just do this.
Pictures, so that's always more fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think.
Yes, I agree.
I will highlight the shoppy parts of my meteoric rise in the arts and crafts industry.
Making playtime bright for kids of all stripes. I like it.
Cool.
All right. So yeah, walk us through this, the career. It's like the old show. This is your life.
Right. So my partner, Eric von Stein, and myself, we started Bright Stripes 5 years ago. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to reset this because there's a couple of things missing from the, yeah, and Eric could have been here. I'm sure he's busy, but we'll get him on at some point. That would be cool. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so there's Mr. Eric there. We're sitting in his studio working on Magic Scrunch. I'll show you more about that product later. But so me and my buddy, we worked together for 10 years at Alex Toys. It's another arts and crafts company.
I remember that.
So we really were bonded by the fires of hell there, and we learned a lot. I'll tell you, a lot. So we knew that we could work together, and we are like, our coworkers used to call us Sabrick because we finish each other's sentences. It's Sabre and Eric, Sabre and Eric. We speak like this twin language, with all this jargon and silly nonsense. So we work well together. We've been working together for 15 years.
I like this title you have. It's Toy Startup 101, or just how two scrappy crafters decided to take on the world. Nice. I like that. Nice. That's so you. And Eric, you guys are great. That's awesome.
So let's talk about little Eric. Here's little Eric crafter at heart. So here's his inspiration as a kid. These are his soft sculptures that he made out of his mother's old pantyhose and some stuffed material, inspired, of course, by Cabbage Patch dolls, which he was not allowed to have as a young boy, but he would make all these things anyways. And he's also holding his prized Shrinky Dink kit.
He worked for Shrinky Dink in later life?
Yes. Yes.
You're kidding me.
No. Yes.
That hits.
Always acquired a lot of different brands and then was acquired themselves. But one of the brands that we really wanted, Eric and I pressed the executive team to take on Shrinky Dinks. It was up for sale. Started in 1973 by Betty Morris, a Girl Scout cub mother who wanted a craft for her Boy Scouts. And that's how that started. And she found the idea out in a magazine. So it was like kind of this open source, open knowledge kind of thing, but she took it in and ran with it. So props to Betty Morris.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? That totally hits home because I remember putting Shrinky Dinks in the toaster. You know what I mean? And like, so Duke, did you play around with the Shrinky Dinks?
Oh yeah, and the thing was like,
so good.
You can like, I was always one to stay in the lines, like coloring, but sometimes like I would stray outside the lines a little bit. Once they shrunk up, they look so much better.
Totally.
Oh,
totally.
That's funny.
It's really fun. I love.
And what is a Shrinky Dink? Like, how does that thing even work?
It's a plastics. Recycle number 7. Your little deli lids or whatnot. You could cut it up today. Put it in your toaster oven tomorrow. You can color it with Sharpies. And her invention was the rough and ready Shrinky Dink, where it was sanded, so it would take a colored pencil, and so that was her.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
and that's wild.
In the United States, Shrinky Dinks. It's like a big roll of plastic. They buff it out and then they cut it into sheets.
That's hilarious. And are they still around?
Heck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my God. All right, cool. Okay. I didn't know all that. That's good. Okay. Can I go to the next slide?
Yeah. So here's Eric's portfolio. He went to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, and he studied toy design. So this was his portfolio to get into toy design class. So, or the program there. So this is all of his kind of wacky art plush that he designed.
Dude, it's a skill. There's a lot of knowing how to use the sewing machine and knowing how to do some good colors and fabric.
Yep. That 2D to 3D thing is quite the mind journey, you know?
Yeah.
You've made upholstery, right, on your cars?
I've done a little bit. Upholstery. Let's see. I've done some like shop aprons and whatnot, and some repairs. And I've installed something that was pre-made, you know. But I always thought it'd be cool to do like a really nice interior. Yeah, that would be cool. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And here's you.
Here's me. So that's me as a kid, right? Painting rainbows. And I basically do the same thing today, still painting rainbows. And this is me dressed up as Janice from the Muppets. So I still love to make Halloween costumes. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Yeah.
You look the same.
Totally.
You're like a cute kid. It's great. That's so funny.
Yeah,
cool. There you go. Cool.
Nice.
All right.
And then this is me as an adult. So I wanted to drop on this slide. I do this nonprofit work for Farmers Alliance for Restoration. I do the graphic work for this organization, and they set up existing training centers in East Africa because they know the culture, they know the language, they know what grows there, they know all that stuff. So they teach them regenerative agriculture techniques to these lead farmers, and the lead farmers then train their neighbors. So it's just a little bit of money, this knowledge of how they can get off chemical ag and save their own seeds, grow food they can eat instead of growing coffee or something they can't eat, right? Control their own market, go to the market, get some money in their pocket from food that they grow on their land. So it's a really great organization. And so I wanted to give a little shout out. And this other one is building houses. So one day I'm going to build my own house out of cob. And that's a mix of clay from the earth, sand and straw. And you can build, it's load bearing. You don't need a timber structure. Peter's nodding his head. Isn't it amazing? I am cuckoo for cob. And one day, and I took a workshop in North Carolina for a week, and we built the whole place. They set the foundation and we built the rest. It was awesome. In 1 week, a group of like 12 people. That's a little group on top, that little photo.
That is pretty cool.
This little structure, a bathroom, a shower, and a greenhouse that would lead, like the steam from the shower would go in and feed the greenhouse. So
that's awesome. You know, Peter's into the house, passive house building. Peter, what do you think of this cob house?
Yes, it's a good idea. The walls are thick. They're providing a great insulation. It's using the materials around the area where you're from. You scrape it together, mix it up like a mud, and it's like 3D printing housing. It's you build it up and keep layering it on, and it's solid and it's great for years.
It's surprisingly easy and fast. And all the materials are completely non-toxic. Like the teacher's kid who was 5 years old, like rolling around in the mud. It's like, yeah, that's fine. It's no big deal. There's no fiberglass in there. You know, it's an amazing material. And this little building that we did, it was like, I don't know, the size of this attic up here. But we learned 7 different wall techniques using the same kind of materials. It's so cool. Ron, I think you would dig it the most.
That's awesome. I will tell you, I was never into houses. And ever since we doing this Shop Class podcast, I've been learning so much from the Passive House accelerators, Peter, and also Mark Willie, Engineered Wood, and also our friend, you know, in Taylorville, we got Matt Bloomquist. They build a house at a high school. It's pretty amazing. So we learned all about the walls. I haven't heard about the cob house, but of course, natural materials. I mean, that makes sense. Why not, you know? And then just going back to what you're saying about the food, you know, we kind of, I think in America kind of need like the skills. Yeah. So this is what we're at the high school. Nice. We've got this aquaponics situation going. This is the science teacher, Margaret Zelenka, and this grows fast and you can eat this. You just right off there and it's live. And I feel like it's like a shot of coffee when you have like a live plant. Man. Yeah. Instead of having, stuff that's in a package for months sitting on a truck, you know. 100%. So yeah, so I'm with you on the whole self-preservation. Look, you don't have to do it all the time. We're on a computer right now. We're buying internet stuff and whatnot, but you got to at least have some skills in that area.
Yes, exactly. And food deserts in America, how can this be true? We could grow our own food. We should be growing food everywhere locally so people can have fresh food to eat. This is ridiculous. Let's do it.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. All right. Let's keep rolling.
All right. So after I graduated from Pratt, I worked at an architect's office for a minute, just answering phones and whatnot. Then I was, by circumstance, called back to California. So I hung my head and went back to California. But then I got a job building sets at this place called Techna Creations, which was a shop that Disney would farm out its work to. So I got to build some of the Nightmare Before Christmas ride. And if you can see those little packages on the side, those little like stack of big presents, I built those. Those are mine. That's my work. Wow. So it was a little super scale model. And I used my experience as a shop tech at Pratt to get this job. And yeah, and I built these little boxes, and I didn't have the foresight to, you know, make this, because they're all wacky angles. It's all Tim Burton, like crazy, you know, like there's nothing square about it, you know, and the box lid is like varying in height on every edge. So we had this little paper scale model, but when I had to make it really big, I would just be blasting through plywood like crazy. I'm like, oh, that didn't fit. Oh, that didn't fit, you know. I could have made it in you know, chipboard and then used a template, but these are the lessons of the wise, you know. So
yes,
I wasted a lot of wood on that project.
Interesting. That's funny. Peter, just to go back for a second, Peter just showed me this. Peter, you want to talk about this? Is the Cobb house.
That's what I'm talking about. The green roof.
Yeah. That's what you do. It's all natural walls, and then it's just stuccoed over, like they call it render in the UK, and then you put on the natural turf roof. So it's got sedum on the roof, and it stays cool that way. And yeah, it's ever so interesting the way it was built. Now, he took a while to do it because it's a huge building, but it's doable.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's cool. Wow. Super
and the
cool.
feeling that you get when you walk into these structures, it's like you can feel the difference. I would always read about people saying, and I'm like, yeah. But like you step into the building and just like you feel it, like the handmade walls, like you can feel it. It feels so good. It's awesome.
Wow. And you know, there's so many advantages that we're not taking advantage of, like geothermal and solar and all these different things. So yeah, I could see why I've never heard of Cobb until now, but you know, there's an incredible amount of resources out there. And yeah, like, you know, developers just go with the status quo, you know, they're trying to build it and get out, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily takes that long. If it's a gigantic building, it would take a long time just to dry, but it's, you know, quick to put up. It's like sculpting a house out of clay. Yeah. It's fun.
Nice. So what's this?
So this is the next job I had. So after, you know, grinding away at this physical job, I became a fancy designer. It was my first design job, designing carpets. And this was a place that was in Santa Ana, California. And what they would do is they would cut, I was a custom area rug designer, or it would be like around like stairs or, you know, rooms, and I had to get the floor plan, but they would cut out the different colors of carpet like a puzzle, glue it together backwards. And then you see this guy with his little sheep shearing tool. Then they would carve it. They would hand carve it. You see this like tile. They would do like basket weaves and like these different things. And they would like carve three-dimensional like shapes in the carpet. So 99% of my day was really spent making little flowers going around the edge of a room or something like that. But that's not in fashion anymore. So when I looked up on the site, I'm like, oh, they've got this like cool colors and this like kind of abstract thing going on. But in my day, it was all flowers and like very traditional, like that middle rug. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting. So
interesting.
Yeah, the factory was below and the designers are upstairs making the rugs.
That's wild. You know, it's funny. I've never messed with any of this stuff. Tim, you ever made any carpets before? Did you know they trim it by hand?
You don't have to do it that way. This is how these guys did it.
Ah, okay.
There's another one, hand tuft the rug, where you like get a little machine and you like punch in like a big needle point project and you hand tuft in the rug.
This is what Roy sent me. He said that this is probably their work in the Grand California Hotel.
Wow.
Hotel California, basically.
That place is cool. In Disneyland, it's a beautiful place.
Wow, look at that. It's so cool when you walk into a space that's like catered like this or crafted, you know?
Yeah, it's
pretty cool. Nice. Handmade. Look out. All right, cool. Pretty sweet. Okay. By the way, you're like the most prepared guest we've ever had. So this is awesome.
So then after that, I moved from California back. I had each job for about, 6 months or so. Then I moved back to New York, where my heart was residing. And I got a job in Jersey with Tony Monaco in Hoboken. And he had his furniture shop. I was there for a hot second, but Tony was very skilled. Look at his hand. Do you see he's working the lathe, that huge
yeah,
out there?
That's big.
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think of this lathe work here?
That's a monster piece right there.
Yeah. This guy really knew his stuff. if I had stayed there for longer than a few months, I'm sure I would have gotten a lot of knowledge and skill from this guy. But I was just sanding all day. I had the power sander for 8 hours every day. And so after a couple of months, I'm like, peace out.
Yeah, when in doubt, sand her out.
Yeah. So a lovely man, a lovely business. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's probably been there a while.
Yeah.
No Instagram on the website. This is like old school right here.
Old school.
Yeah.
There's Tony. Yeah,
it's for some reason blurry. I guess I don't know what's happening there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, and Tim does a lot of turning. Pretty amazing. And he does some furniture, and so does Roy do some stuff with their students. Obviously they do cabinetry and whatnot, which is pretty cool. But Tim's
I love woodworking. I love woodworking. I did some furniture stuff at Pratt, and I absolutely love it.
They do these bowls.
Nice.
Tim, how do you describe when you put the different types of wood together?
So that bowl is right there. That bowl is right there. That's what do I call a laminated bowl, where you're taking different woods and gluing them together, and then in a blank, and then all of a sudden you just put it into the lathe and you start carving it away, and you kind of let the project become what it is.
Oh wow!
This is what's called segmented turning that you see there, where it's a bunch of little pieces, trapezoids glued together.
Wow!
So cool.
Yeah, so we do a lot of that stuff.
Nice. And that's pretty cool. All right, let's get back to let's get back on the train.
All right.
All right. I'm absolutely loving how prepared this is. It's making my job really easy tonight. This is awesome.
Sweet. Yeah. So here's where Eric and I met at Alex Toys with our really fun crew. We had so much fun together. We had the best design team ever. But look at the size of this design team. Look at the size of it, Ron.
Yeah.
We have ourselves some good times. We really did. We built the team up. When I started, there was 3 designers, you know, and then after 10 years, we had a group of 20.
Wow.
So it was quite the ride. I learned a bunch of stuff. I learned processes. I learned, you know, poke my nose around in the warehouse, poke my nose around, and what are the IT guys doing? What are the sales guys doing? Went to China. What are they doing? So I, you know, Eric and I both were that way. And so we felt pretty prepared to, that we knew enough that we could ask somebody what we didn't know to start our own thing.
Yeah, that's super cool. Nice. Is Alex Toys still around?
Yeah. So Alex Toys was originally founded in 1986, I believe, by Rick and Narit Amder. And it was all arts and crafts, and they had a very strong core value about being creative. They would never depict anything that looked like a gun, for instance. No water guns, nothing that would appear to even look like a gun or be held like a gun. Like very good ethics, you know, in my mind, sorry. And then they sold the business after a while. So they sold it to a private equity firm who gobbled up, as you can see, all these different brands: Ideal, Poof, Slinky, Backyard Safari, Zoob, Scientific Explorer, all these different brands, right? They had many, many different things. They kept buying. And it was like, well, how you can't just buy it. How are you making money off of this thing? It was like, just build it up. And we were trying to design to all these brands. Eric and myself were leading the design team. Well, we got to hire new people, and in the middle of going through all this craziness, we have to write the instructions for all these science kits and craft kits. Oh, and now we need to do them in 4 languages. So we need to translate these things and put the packaging and the instructions in 4 languages. It was a lot. It was so much. And then the company, we could see it was starting to really explode. And so we were, Eric and I were actually let go. And 6 months later, it was went to bankruptcy, and different companies bought different assets out of the bankruptcy. So Just Play bought Slinky and Shrinky Dinks. So those were the US made businesses, and Everest bought Alex Toys. So it still exists. Everest is a toy distribution company in Canada.
Interesting.
They don't even have any designers anymore. They took on a few old designers, and now they don't even have any designers at a toy company anymore.
NBAs, they know everything.
Yeah. So this legendary company with all of this talent, we're all like scattered to the four winds now.
You know what? Everything happens for a reason.
100%. We're so happy.
Yeah.
And we're so happy. Yeah. So it worked out just fine. But here's some of the hits that we worked on. The Happy Little Loom was a really cool patented project where you loom through the top, but it had this like cool little clever system to it. So you can kind of like weave on the go. The Friendship Wheel in craft circles. This is like a famous device. There's these I always say the name wrong. Kumiho, something. Some of the K. It's Japanese. I'm sorry that I don't remember it. But it looks like a little white wheel with a bunch of numbers, like 1 through 70 across the.
So you just follow it.
And you follow like 1 to 16, 16 to 4, and you follow it around and you weave these friendship bracelets. And my boss Narita at the time, she's like, make this look cool, because this is ugly, but the product that it makes is really awesome. So it's like, well, get rid of the numbers. It looks like a birth control pill thing, right? And then you just put some color code it. So you see the pattern that you make on that ring on the inside, and then the petals on the outside show you where to put the string in the first place, create that pattern. And then it's just like this simple, like you go up and down and up and down, and then you turn it up and down and up and down. And then an hour later, you have a little friendship wheel.
Duke, have you come across these? You got some kids, right?
Yeah, a lot of the kids are making like the beaded bracelets now.
Yes,
It goes in waves. It could be like the string in the beginning of the year, and then it moves on to like the beaded bracelets is the big one right now.
Swifties, they made the friendship bracelets very popular with beads.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm told.
Duct tape, I remember.
Remember that trend, duct tape?
Yeah, everybody had different colors.
All ducked out. Get it?
Yep.
Get it? Eric and I would like dress these girls in all these projects and like smile, like make them laugh and do the joke. It was so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like the movie Toy.
Yes.
Wait. Big. You're like, it should be a
different message in that movie, right?
Should be a dinosaur instead of a building or a bug. Right. I don't know. That was a funny scene. Oh, so cool.
A few.
Oh, what happened? Oh, did she get cut out somehow? Okay, she'll rejoin. That was good. This is good. This is she's got a whole deck. Oh yeah, we got to move a little faster. There's a lot of stuff here. But that's pretty cool. She'll rejoin. Yeah. Roy, wait, you got a couple of kids running around and buying up Alex toys? I don't remember. Not yet, right?
Hey, you know what, Ron? This could be the first 2-part podcast ever.
Oh, I know, right? I think we probably do need to run through these. Let's go to the next thing. Let's see.
Hey, that looks great. Next slide. Hey, that looks great. Next slide.
Yep, that's good. Next slide. Okay, hold on. Let's see. She just texted me, and we're right in the middle here.
Are you? Do you remember playing with any of these? I don't remember. I don't ever remember.
There, she's back
with doodads.
We moved ahead. We were self-narrating here. Oh, you got to hit unmute, Sabre.
Yeah, but go back one. Was there Mr. Potato Head?
Wait, Sabre. There you go.
Yeah.
That's better. Okay, cool. You're all plugged in now.
Ron just did your entire presentation while you were gone.
Yeah, beautiful. I did your presentation. We skipped over a couple things. I realize we do have a lot to cover, so
we don't have to dwell.
Yeah, moving past. So let's go past Alex Toys and let's go to this computer's slowing down a little. Let me get rid of some tabs here. All right.
Point is a lot of different things, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, mostly creative creative kits
Reset
mostly.
that.
A lot of different categories of toys. Got my hands on.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of some of these tabs. We're gonna get this thing going. Okay, we're up to number. Oh, there we go.
No, I'm kidding.
All right. Okay, so here we are.
Here we are.
All right. So wait, there's one slide before. No, so this is
all right.
This is still Alex.
Other Alex. That's of the past. Of the past.
All right. So now, ta-da! What happened?
So Eric and I, we know what's going on. For a couple of years, we're like, you know what would be great is not to have like 50 different layers of decision making before the product. Like, let's just make some cool stuff together, shall we? We know how to do this. We can work together. So we're workshopping it out. We live literally 1 block away from each other. So we would carpool in and I'd have my computer and I'd be taking notes. I'm like, all right, let's think of company names. Or I have a long list of all these company names. And that's what we came up with, Bright Stripes. Company, no. And so our original idea was to create kits that kids could learn how to build the future, right? Like a cob house. Like, how do you build a miniature cob house? This was our original vision. Like, how do we teach kids what they need to know to like have fun and it's cute and you're doing something fun, but underneath is some good knowledge, right? So that was our impetus to start. But then we got fired. And so the very next day, we were like, we registered our LLC. We already knew the name because we had a cute name picked out. So we just went for it. And we started with what we knew, which was make arts and crafts kits with manufacturers that we had already been in touch with for like 10 years. So we knew these guys well. So we just like, let's start there and we'll layer in all our environmental, strategy stuff later. So
cool.
We knew all these sales reps. Eric went to Hong Kong and reconnected with different manufacturers there, which is great. This was before the pandemic. So we started in 2018 in August. That's when we started. We brought in product October 2019. This is our first trade show. I was 6 months pregnant when we started this business. So at our very first trade show in June, I had little Amalia. That's her as a little baby there in this trade show in Pittsburgh, the specialty trade show. So that was our first launch with 30 products. So here's Eric and myself. So he's really the design designer. He makes everything look gorgeous. He's really good with all of our packaging and our product art. He makes it look really great. Our marketing, online communication, all of that stuff. That's on his side. He's the looks guy. And I'm kind of like the guts, nuts, and bolts gal on the other side, and making sure it's in cost, making sure we have value, right? Making sure we can get the box in the container over here on time, all that good stuff. So I'm like
that's the work. That's the hard part.
I'm like, what are you complaining? You're doing design, Eric? I would love to get a pencil. No,
it's all of it's hard to do. I can imagine.
Yeah. No,
all right.
So we work
DIY kits for toddlers to tweens.
Toddlers to tweens. So we have all these different brands. So we started out with 30 products. Now we have 130 about, and we have all these different brands. So stuff for tweens to like, do their hair and their nails and all that stuff. We have stuff for toddlers, teaching them, 4-year-olds, teaching them about science through fun arts and crafts products. So it's fun first, and then like the learning is like kind of tucked inside. That's how we like to do it. And all sorts of different building and crafting kits. It's like shop in a box,
Yeah, I got to reset. There's a little lag. But yeah, we're going to get there. Pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, Tim, what do you think, man? Let's see. There is a lag going on with the computer. Sorry, folks.
No, yeah, so part of it is I'm under a deadline for a page layout newsletter I'm trying to work on while I'm listening and participating. So I'm multitasking here. I love the graphic arts nature of that. And there's so many people that forget that shop teachers are, graphic artists. And, a lot of that stems from their graphic arts industry and the printing and the publishing and the layout and the design and all that other stuff that some of us shop teachers, you know, we didn't necessarily get dirty with sawdust and oil. You know, they got dirty with ink and paper and all that other stuff. So like when you had your idea generation of your logo, like I just love those thumbnails because that's what we taught when I taught graphic arts for 14 years. It was, you know, bang out as many ideas as you can, get those thumbnails out, you know, just start refining. And, you know, just looking at all this stuff, you can just see that, yeah, there was a lot of thought put into the design. There was a lot of thought put in the printing and the publishing and the layout and the organization. So it is just amazing to see that all that coming together, you know, right here in front of me. And yeah, you weren't necessarily a shop teacher, but you're implementing so many shop skills that were taught from, you know, modeling to layout to design. And it's amazing. It really is.
Oh,
yeah, this is super cool. So, okay. So I think it's working now. Yeah. Thanks, Tim, for the commentary. It's true. She's got a lot of skills. Yeah. What you want to walk us through these slides?
Sure. So just to show our growth over the past couple of years, our catalog covers. So our you can skip that one. All the places where you can find bright stripes.
All right.
This is a good slide. So I Heart Art. We were approached by a manufacturer who wanted to start an art brand. We're like, how can we start an art supply brand? It's everywhere. Every craft store has their own private house brand of art supplies. What's the big deal here? So if you go to the next slide there. So we said it must have a purpose. It must have a give back model. So
that's true.
So we created I Heart Art. And the heart is we give back to this really wonderful nonprofit called Art Feeds. And they teach kids art with the intention of helping them cope with big emotions. So it's, here's Meg, the founder there, and she's amazing. She's been doing it for 10 years and has affected thousands of kids. So everyone in her program gets a little art bag with art supplies that are now I Heart Art supplies inside the bag to take home with them because they might not have crayons and markers on their own. So it's like this place to express yourself. No feelings are bad. You need to process all your feelings. There's all these really wonderful coping skills to be a resilient human being and bring yourself through trauma. So there's art centers around the world that they have developed, and I Heart Art is supporting those international art centers that they've built.
You know, something I realized is that if you know, it's not just that you're good at the crafting of a product, but you're actually pretty good at crafting a brand. And so I could see why someone would look to you guys to craft something or launch something. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we love art. Really nice supplies. There's art guides in all of them that teach you how to use the supplies. So cool. This is our little invention, Lantern Land. So this is, you create all flat, it's from all flat parts. You can create this like little mini theater. It's inspired by, you can go to the next slide. You can see the inspiration behind them. Theater design, you know, those like shadow puppet things. What do you call the shadow boxes? Fabergé eggs, those like little intricate worlds that you peer inside. So I have one in front of me here. So these are these really cool little
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. It's this little structure. It's a pentagon kind of structure, and you kind of it all folds together with these self-stick tabs. So there's no glue. Here's some prototypes, kind of figuring out the geometry of how everything fits together.
These are not easy to make. Did anybody here? Have you done origami? Duke, do you do any of that in the class? Oh, Peter's done origami. Go ahead, Peter. Oh, unmute yourself.
I like the I did. Yeah, I like the precision folding and the challenge of getting to the end product and doing all the folds correctly in order. And it is amazing. It's a puzzle, and it's really tiring in the mind, but it's a great reward.
Totally.
Nice.
This is not as hard as origami, by the way.
Okay.
It's like, you know, you'll get your kids every once in a while. They come into the room and they're like, here. And it's like some type of origami. You know what I mean? And then you're like, wow, you made that? They're like, yeah.
Well,
But then
hard work.
we had like a activity day, field day or something. Oh, that STEM that elementary STEM day I went to. So they had different stations and I ran the 2 robotics labs and then the drones. So another teacher did origami with the kids and she's like, it was a disaster.
Oh, so yeah, it's
But my kid around Easter time made the origami bunnies with his art class. He was all proud of it. Taught my brother how to do it.
But you know, like, believe it or not, like figuring all this stuff out and then making it work so you could just unfold it and it's this little world inside. That takes planning. That's pretty cool. Nice stuff.
yeah, it's got a little light inside, so it lights up. So that's
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, I can see that.
yeah. So this one is cute. So simplicity and storytelling. So on the next slide, you'll see the inspiration behind this one. So I was playing with she was 3 years old, my daughter Amalia. So you see this little pink sketch here on the sketch pad. This is her drawing of a crayon bride. I was like, a crayon bride, huh? Brilliant. Why? You have to print every wrapper of the crayon a different name, right? Is it purple? Is it red? So it's like the color of the paper plus a black print. It's like, why aren't these characters? Why hasn't this been done before? And I was like freaking out. I was so excited that my 3-year-old had the best idea ever. So I kind of interpreted her little crayon character. So it's characters you can play with as crayons. And then we give a coloring book that looks like, you know, there's the roof on the box, and then you open the pages and it's like the kitchen and the bedroom, and then you could color in the bedroom and then you could play in front.
The box is the coloring book. Hello.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Love this one.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice one.
Yeah.
These are great ideas. It's like, wow.
And then this is a magic scrunch pillow, which you saw Eric and I noodling over in the beginning there. So this is turning flat stuff into something more innovative. So you can go to the next one, magic scrunch pillow. So this is kind of inspiration. There's like these little squishy pillow animal guys. There's this latch hook thing that's really fun, but who the heck is ever going to finish a latch hook project? Do you have like 5 years of your life to dedicate to this little thing? No, you don't. Who in this day and age, you know? Yeah. So these are our thoughts. So we came up with a pretty cool system. And go to the next one. Yeah. Taking die cut pieces of fleece that have horizontal slits and vertical slits. Okay,
it's lagging again, but it'll get there.
So I have.
Oh yeah. I'll reset while you're.
So I have one in front of me here. So this is the scrunch pillow. So this is well, it's better to have a flat piece in this pull book.
That one's pretty good.
No, but the trick of it is the system. I don't have any flat pieces. So we have all different guys. We have all different guys here.
Oh, nice.
So the trick of it is there's this pre-sewn pillowcase with these straps, and there are flat pieces that you weave into these parts. So you weave a couple of times, but these slots all make the fringe. So this is all one piece of fabric. So you didn't do it, you know, by hand, one by one loop. You do it like instant piñata fringe. So by weaving on a couple of panels and then scrunching it, you get this cool guy, and you make them in 45 minutes. And these are just stick.
Yeah, this is like way better.
And then you just stick this little pillow in the back. And the cool part is the felt, the pillow stuffing, and all of this fleece are all made of 90 to 100% post-consumer plastic bottles.
Okay.
There you go. It's actually really soft too. So we got all these little characters. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting back to the thing in a sec. There's a little bit of lag.
Like my last part. This is like my last section. So.
Yeah. No, it's good. My computer's just yeah. This is we're overwhelmed with how prepared you are. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just fix one thing here, and we are getting into it. All right. I'm clicked on slide 33. It's going to take a minute to get there.
Okay.
So, yeah. But I can pull up like now. Let's say you wanted to find some of this stuff. Where would you go? You have to go all over, right? You don't sell it directly on the website.
We do. We sell on our website. We're mostly wholesalers, so we sell to all the independent shops, all the independent toy shops. But we also have a website where you can purchase from.
Oh, okay.
We've got the Richard Scary license. You guys know Lowly the Worm and Busy Town. So we were like, well, we'll never do licenses. You know, we make our own art. I'm like, but Richard Scary is really great. So we have little sticker books and little guys you could paint little Lowly. Here's my daughter painted this little gorilla's banana. You know, he's got this cool rainbow car.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
all right, I think that the deck is back.
There we go.
There's back.
Okay, there you go. So click down one slide. Let's hold our breath and hope it works.
That's gonna take another.
That's the explanation part of like how it works. It's easier to see when it's in parts to see how it works. Anyway,
it's lagging. We'll come back to that.
Maybe my website's better actually because it has a video.
Oh, there you go. Look at this
motion video of how it gets put together.
Okay, so, I do see something here.
There you go. See there?
Yeah.
So it's flat, and you weave it on those horizontal slits, and the vertical slits create the fringe as you like move it up.
And you tighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're dropping the barrier of the frustration barrier.
That's it. Because kids, especially kids today, am I right? Shop teachers.
Yes.
You got to give them an easy win. You can't give them. You guys have time. You guys have time. I've got 10 seconds to get their attention in the toy store. And if they don't have fun with my toy, they're going to throw it in the corner.
Yeah. It's more about, I think it's about lighting the fire.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, of course you could go deeper into something like, you know, what got me into one of the things that sparked my interest in cars was, you know, just a picture of a Ferrari. But then that led to a remote control car, but I didn't get the control car that you have to have an attention span for where you actually build it yourself until later. Right. And then that I struggled through. And then I finally did so the first remote control car you get, it just works.
Yeah.
You know, and Duke, you know about this, right? Like you make it like kind of like exciting and it can't be too hard to do. Right. Yeah. What do you think of all that, Duke?
That's the same thing. Like sixth graders, you put tools in their hands, you know, so they're excited right there, especially lately. You know, they used to come in with experience and they used to be like, oh, we're doing this again. But like these kids now, this is the first time they put a screwdriver in their hand, different types of saws. So they're excited to come to class every day. And then seventh grade, we worked with robots. Who doesn't want to build a robot? So, but that's the same thing. It's just you can't do the same thing. You know, they get bored with it. So you gotta switch it up.
Yeah. So the secret sauce that we've kind of come up with is you give them something that they'll be successful at, that they can finish, right? You want to give them you can pre-cut the pieces if you have to pre-cut the pieces, give them the glue so they don't have to find the glue, like lower the barrier to entry. Get them started because most kids they're not getting their hands messy, right? Parents want something easy. So you give them something that they can complete that looks like the box, but then you give a little bit of room to customize. So you gear to success, give them a little bit of room to make it their own, and then they own it. And then they have a successful experience behind them, and then they could go out and get that more advanced craft kit next, right? Like starter.
The starter log. It's like the starter log for a campfire.
That's it. That's right.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, cool. So
that's the goal, you know, give kids something that they starts the fire of a lifelong love of arts and crafts and building things and being a producer, not a consumer. That's
if you think about it, that's the classic coloring book it has the guidelines, and then you color it. And now you have this thing that you have. Then obviously, if you want to go on your own, sure.
Right.
But the likelihood that you're going to go on your own right away is kind of like ridiculous. You know?
Right.
Pretty cool. Yeah, this is awesome. All right, we made it through the deck.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about the lagging. This is but I really appreciate you giving us the tour. You're the most prepared guest we've ever had.
Sweet.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. So now that was the we did the first question, which was did you have shop class? And we oh, hold on, are you guys there? Oh, good. And the second question was kind of like, what are you working on now? And then the final question is, what do you wish if you had access to our curriculum as shop teachers, middle school or high school, or any, and in your case, you probably know more about the middle school and younger. What would you want us to add to the classroom? What do you wish you saw in education? Yeah, give us some pointers.
I think you're it, because you're the shop class. Like, that's what I want everyone to have. I want everyone to have the shop class. I want everyone to know how to use a ruler. I want everyone to draw with a pencil, even if it's just to get out your idea, to communicate, not to make a masterpiece. I think kids are so judgmental about what they produce, right? They don't want to make it bad, so they don't even try to start. So I think that's what we're trying to kind of peel back, and I think you guys are the answer. We just need more shop teachers. All right, more.
Thank you. This is
make some stuff. Just go out and make it. Love it.
There you go.
I think she was totally right with what she just said about the kids don't want to get ideas down on paper, and that's why a lot of times you hear the kids say, "Well, I can't think of anything."
Right.
And I think it's more than that. I think they can think of something. It's just that they don't want to be embarrassed by what they're thinking.
Right.
Yeah, they don't. It's an ironic thing that in the school system, what they do is they have, what they say is, okay, if you get an F, this is bad. That means you didn't memorize the thing. Right. If you get an A, you gave the teacher back the answer they were looking for. Right. You sort of complied. So they're trained on that. And then they come to a shop class and I'm like, hey, I need you to make this thing and I need you to fail really fast to find out how strong or fast this thing is you're making. And they're like, what? They can't even believe that I want them to destroy something they made. Duke, do you have a bad reaction from the students when you ask them to race something or crush something, or, because the classic thing in the shop class is the bridge construction, what do you think, Duke?
They used to love the bridge project. We used to crush the bridges. They used to get all psyched up for it. They wanted to crush it.
Okay.
The more violent, the better. But like, I can see what you're saying. If you prototype something, they invested all this time to make it, and then you want to test the structure of it. Yeah, they do not want to break it.
Yeah.
A prototype.
And kids aren't bored anymore. Do you remember being bored, all of us old people?
Oh, God.
We were bored. We would think about how to keep ourselves busy. No kid ever has to think about how to keep themselves busy anymore. So that's, I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know how to solve it. I don't know how to put the genie back in the bottle. I try to solve it in my own house with my kids.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, we're talking like rotary and touch tone dial up, and then you go see your friend at your house. You don't even know if they're there. Like, they might not even answer the phone, so you have to go find them.
Right.
Like, like on your bicycle or something.
You would figure out, invent games, invent your own games, invent your own projects to build. And I did that all the time as a kid. I would make things, accessories for my toys, because I didn't have a bazillion toys. I would make my own things to play with.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Duke.
We do like a Tinkercad project, like a drawing project, because they use Tinkercad to design their 3D prints. But I just went into practice using the tools So I have them design a mini golf course, right? Something simple, mini golf course, right? But beforehand, we sketch it out. I ask them for 3 sketches. Like I give them drawing tools, color pencils, like triangles, everything, circle templates, whatever they need. They can just like trace shapes. I can't get a good sketch hardly out of any of these kids. And they just want to get it done. Like they don't care. Just get it done. I'm like, guys, you have the full period. It's nice, relaxing. Just take some pencils with you, you know, have fun with this activity. They're like, am I done yet? Am I done? Is this good enough? Like, just use the period. I'm not asking you to do anything else. Just the sketches.
Yeah, I walk up to these bigger projects that I do. I walk up really in like a staircase. You know, I have to get them comfortable with trying to fail. You want to make something that you can test out and see if it actually works physically in the real world, whether it's something that looks good and attracts attention or whether it structurally works. And so they're like, oh, can you give me a switch for the toy we're making? And I'm like, no, you got to make a switch. They're like, how do you make a switch? I'm like, figure it out. I'm like, literally. And then one kid gives up and I'm like, a switch is literally 2 wires that touch. I mean, come on. And they're like, oh, so they just, you got to let them fail, but that's difficult because, if it goes too far and they really get frustrated, they'll just give up completely. So you do have to kind of get them going a little and then, light the fire of, creativity. And then when you get into more difficult stuff, like welding or mechanics or stuff, the patience level, you know what? Maybe we don't appreciate how much patience that a student would need to be in a shop class. Like imagine you have a printer and then you have a failed print, like a 3-dimensional failed print. And you waited 3 hours. Now you got to redesign it or figure out why the machine is failing. Like that's a lot of patience there. Diagnostics, and then and then especially even soldering, like if you get the tip of the soldering iron filled with carbon because you overheat it, oh my God, then they got to clean it. It's crazy, So what do you ever Sabre, do you ever do I'm sure you do, but do you ever do market research where you have the kids play with it and observe and stuff like that?
We do. I mean, it's limited because we're a super small team. That's 100% what we're going to focus on once we get slightly bigger, but it's really just Eric and myself and a couple of admin, so at the moment we're answering the phone and doing it all, driving to FedEx with this box, so but we do test to see if kids can do it. I have a 5-year-old and an almost 12-year-old at home, so they're my toy testers, Cleo and Amalia. Yeah, so yeah, I have a couple of age ranges. Like the big one says if it's cool or not, and the little one, she can try things out and see if little kids can do it. So
nice.
And their friends, of course, I try to use their friends as much as I can.
Let's do one last bonus question and then we'll wrap this up. This has been a great episode. We could always hang around for extra questions after recording, but for the recording, let's do one more question. Let's do a business question, small business question. Can you give us the top 3 biggest mistakes that you made? Not if it's proprietary, we don't need to know, but in general, top 3 things what would you say to yourself when you first started? And it's an important question for a shop class because a lot of these shop classes are kind of like incubators. They're like, you could really launch a lot of businesses out of the shop class, which the schools don't do, but they should. In a way they are, because if somebody learns electricity for housing, then they become a contractor, or if they learn how to weld, now they can set up a welding business. So it is kind of an incubator. And so what advice would you give? Give us your top 3 advice for starting a business.
Oh man, make friends. Alex has my husband. He has a long speech about what you should never do with your relationships and your bridges. Don't burn them, you know. So you always be friendly. You never know who you're gonna call. You know, industries are pretty small also, so the same faces kind of turn up again and again. So you want to be the friendly, helpful, intelligent person. You don't want to be the jerky guy, you know, that, you know, kicks everyone in the shins. So we have really used every name that we know. My dad helps us with video editing. One of my good friends from Cleo's class, one of the kids in Cleo's class, the dad has a freight forwarding company. So we use him for our logistics, you know, like we're calling on every favor that we can to like kind of pull this together. So it really takes a community. And you have to ask questions and figure things out. So that would be my next thing is, you know, just try it. You know, just try it. I have to learn all these new things that I've never heard about, like the supply chain and how to get stuff in from China. I didn't know how to do that before, but now I looked it up on Google, you know, and I figured it out and asked a couple people. And now in a room with people talking about these things, I'm like, but hey, wait a second. Aren't you the expert? Don't you know that that's going to be wrong? And they're like, what? It's like, you don't know how fast you can like really become the expert, especially when it's your butt and your money on the line with your own business. So don't like give away what you think you know. Trust yourself, because 99 times out of 100 you'll be right. Like if something feels amiss but you think you're not the expert, well, you probably are more knowledgeable than all the experts in the room.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Yeah. You know, it's that I would say that's pretty good advice. You know, I have a small business teaching intro to welding, intro to mechanics. It's basically shop class, but in a private company on the side. And you just take a little bit of a risk. And you know, you're like, okay, I'm going to try this. We'll see how this goes. And then you just have to figure it out, you know. So and you do rely on a lot of people. It's true.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for doing this, Sabre. It was great catching up. And
absolutely. Thanks, Ron.
We do have to do more than just a professional catch up. This is we should all hang out again, obviously.
Sure.
But as far as the Shop Class podcast goes, this is a good episode.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. And great to talk with all of you guys. It was really fun. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you ever need anything from the shop teachers, we are here for you. Does anybody want to add anything before we get going? Duke, you got some? Looks like
do you have an Instagram account?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at brightstripes.co, I think. I think if you look up Bright Stripes, why don't I know this? This is silly, but yeah,
I will bring it up.
And are most of your sales online?
No, actually, about 94% is in brick and mortar. Yeah, so your local neighborhood toy store probably has some Bright Stripes products in there.
Cool.
So shop local. We do have
also Roy and Sabre. You guys are really like from the same area, I think, right?
Yeah, sounds like it.
So if you're,
I'm actually going to be in Connecticut.
Oh,
what? I don't know how close that is. I feel like it's like 90 minutes away from you guys.
Oh wait, Roy, you're in Connecticut? What? Oh, for
no, my wife got accepted into graduate school, and so we're going to be there from July 13th in Hartford, Connecticut, through the 27th. But I don't have any obligations, so I'll plug that in a couple more times before summer happens.
We totally have to get together.
Yeah,
totally,
dude. We're all right there. Let's let's make a day of it.
Let's talk after.
Sure, totally. That sounds good. All right, cool. All right, thanks for everybody being here, and we end the recording there. Shop Class Podcast. Sabre, Bright Stripes, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ron.
All right.